Hey everyone, and welcome. So, we're living in a world that's basically drowning in data, right? But there's a special type of professional out there who can take all that noise and turn it into something meaningful, something that businesses can actually use. Today, we're going to dive deep into what it really means to be an analyst and why they are so incredibly important.
So let me just start with a question for you. When a company is staring down a huge, messy problem, who's their secret weapon? Who's the person they call to parachute in, make sense of the chaos, and find a way forward?
Well, a lot of the time, that hero is the systems analyst. This is kind of our classic definition of what an analyst does. They use tech to solve business problems. But check out that last part on the slide, because this is the real kicker. Organizational change agents. They don't just put a Band-Aid on a problem. No, they completely change how the work gets done. They're transformers.
And to be one of those transformers, an analyst has to wear a whole bunch of different hats. Seriously, it's not just about sitting behind a screen and crunching numbers. It's about understanding the entire, complex, human side of a business.
For starters, they've got to be part psychologist. They have to dig in and understand how people really do their jobs, what gets them excited and what drives them absolutely crazy. And then, bam, they have to switch hats and become a top-notch salesperson. I mean, you can have the most brilliant solution in the world, but if you can't get people to buy into it, it's totally useless. You have to sell them on the vision.
Of course, they're also an architect. They're the ones drawing up the blueprints for brand new systems and processes, turning these big, fuzzy ideas into something real and functional that people can actually use.
And yeah, believe it or not, they're even part politician. They have to be super savvy at navigating all the internal company dynamics to build support and push for change without getting bogged down by all the bureaucracy.
Okay, so psychologist, salesperson, architect, politician, that is a lot of hats. So what kind of tools does an analyst need in their toolkit to actually pull all of this off? Well, it's not just one thing. It's a mix of two really different but equally important skill sets.
It really comes down to this perfect balance between the human and the technical. You absolutely need those interpersonal skills to connect with people, but you also need the hard technical skills to work with the systems and the data. A truly great analyst is a master of both.
Let's talk about the human side. This is way more than just being a good talker. It's about communicating in a way that your users actually get. It's about deeply understanding their pain points, teaching them a new, better way of working, and like we said, selling them on that brighter future.
And then you've got the other side of the coin, the procedural stuff. This is all about the creativity to dream up new solutions, the problem-solving chops to tackle huge obstacles, and the project management discipline to see it all the way to the finish line. And maybe the most important thing of all, a relentless questioning attitude. Always asking, what if and why not? That's where the breakthroughs happen.
Okay, so we've got the skills down, but here's the thing. Analyst isn't a one-size-fits-all job title. Not at all. It's more like a whole family of different roles. So let's check out 5 different flavors of analyst you're likely to find out there.
First up, we've got the economic analyst. You can think of this person as the company's fortune teller, the one who's always looking at the big picture to see what's coming over the horizon.
Their whole job is to tell a story with economic data. They dig into market trends, they use all that info to predict what might happen next, and then they wrap it all up in clear, concise reports so that leadership can make smart decisions.
So how do you become one? Well, it usually starts with a degree in finance or business. But the key is that mix of skills. You need the quantitative brain to handle the heavy numbers, the technical ability to use fancy tools, and the communication skills to explain it all to people who aren't number crunchers.
All right, flavor number 2, the data analyst. These folks are the modern-day detectives of the business world. They sift through mountains of digital clues to uncover the hidden story. Their mission, day in and day out, is to find the signal in all the noise. They're running tests, taking huge, messy data sets and turning them into clean insights and finding those key trends that can help a company make more money or save a ton of time. Now, getting into this role is pretty intense. It's super technical, usually requiring something like a master's in computer science. And while the math and tech skills are a given, what really sets the great ones apart are their organizational skills, being able to manage these huge, complicated data projects from beginning to end.
Okay, our third flavor is the financial analyst. Think of these analysts as the guardians of a company's financial health. They're there to make sure it's strong, stable, and growing in a smart way.
They've basically got their finger on the financial pulse of the company 24/7. They're looking at the numbers to recommend smart investments or maybe some necessary spending cuts, and they're the ones putting together the reports that show whether the business is truly healthy.
Usually, you'll start with a bachelor's in finance, but if you really want to stand out, getting the Chartered Financial Analyst or CFA certification is a huge deal. And beyond the math skills, you have to have an almost obsessive attention to detail. One tiny misplaced decimal point can change everything.
Let's move on to our fourth flavor, the operations analyst. These are the efficiency experts, the ones who are totally obsessed with making the company run smoother, faster, and just better.
And get this role is absolutely exploding. The job growth is projected to be a massive 25% over the decade. And what that tells you is that in today's world, being efficient isn't just a nice to have, it's a fight for survival. It's a huge competitive advantage.
The road to becoming an operations analyst often starts with a degree in business or analytics. But here's the secret sauce. While the technical and problem-solving skills are your foundation, the real magic happens through collaboration. These analysts have to work with literally every department to make improvements happen.
And finally, our fifth flavor, the business analyst. I love this one. These professionals are the ultimate bridge builders. They connect the world of business problems with the world of technology solutions. They're the translators.
And it's no surprise this role is also growing fast. We're looking at 14% projected growth. The reason is pretty simple, right? As technology gets more and more complex, you desperately need experts who can speak both business and tech fluently.
You'll see a lot of people come into this role from business or engineering. Project management skills are absolutely critical here, and so are the quant skills. But what really makes a business analyst shine is their ability to build teams. To get all these different people from different departments all marching toward the same goal.
So, let's pull all this together. What does it all mean? Well, in a world that's becoming more data-driven by the second, the role of the analyst, in all its amazing flavors, is more critical than ever before. They're the ones who help us make sense of it all.
You know, this quote just nails it. It's not about just having data. I mean, everybody has data. It's about having talented people who can help an organization actually do something with that data to make real, measurable improvements. That's the power of an analyst.
You know, at the end of the day, data is just a collection of facts. It's just numbers and text sitting on a server somewhere. It doesn't have a voice until an analyst comes along and tells its story, a story that can inspire change. So that really just leaves one question. Data tells a story. What story will you tell?